We've got our countertop stained and sealed and then installed. They're looking good. I like them. I think they're quite pretty to look at. Our stove is still low because we haven't done our floor yet. This is that overhanging cabinet, countertop. So we picked up almost a foot there. I think it looks pretty good. So what I want to move on to next is the soffits. I'm going to figure out how I want to do them. I know because of the vent, I can't just go right straight up. I got a pipe. So I think I want a level ceiling going across the top of the windows and on top of the cabinet. And then over here, I've got my choice of going straight up to make it look larger. I'm not sure. Or if I want to just do the same thing because the light will reach either way. And then over here, we've already discussed what we're going to do. And I still haven't got the details down yet, what I want to do to install the television. So we'll get a start on it. So I got a little block behind the face frame. And I'm contemplating whether I want to hook on that and go straight up to the ceiling, make a cleat on the ceiling around the end, and then just take our material that we choose and attach to that. Our choices are the 1x6 pine tongue and groove, or we have several sheets of the 3/4 inch plywood, different pieces that we took out of the cabinets, and those are pretty decent on one side. And if we do the pine, we got a choice of going horizontal or vertical. And if you're familiar with the pine, a lot of times you get 5 1/4, 5 3/8, 5 1/2, 5 5/8. They're not all exactly the same. So if we ran them straight up, they'd look funny if the seams didn't all line up. So they probably should run horizontal. And so I got some choices to make. Of course, we have drywall, which I don't like. But either way, I think what I need to do is a cleat system across the top of the ceiling. So I need to use a level and either a chalk line or a straight line. Go ahead and put a cleat up. Go around the end of the cabinet, do the same thing. I'll probably pick a depth of about 3/4 of an inch. And then at the cabinet openings, I'll probably take the pine, tip it on edge, or flat I should say, and run it from cabinet to cabinet on both of these. And that way they will look the same looking up. You're looking at the ceiling. And so that I'm going to plan on doing. Well, we had all these shelves, 3/4 inch plywood, quite a few plies, and smooth one side. So I decided to go ahead and whitewash them. Go cut them down and whitewash them. Put my cleats up against the ceiling and the cabinets. And then I tacked this one on, mitered the outside edge, and the little 1/4 inch, I think I'll just cut a filler underneath it. I don't want to notch into that cabinet. So we're just going to do a filler. The whitewash is drying, but I'm going to run this across, then I'm going to cleat that side and do the same thing. To mention, on the ceiling, we did the 1x6 pine tongue and groove so that it matches ceiling. I figured those two would probably look better if they stayed the same. I put a miter on the end. Now I'm going to come down. I did a scarf joint so they don't see a seam there. I'm going to run it a little ways past. Okay, got around this far. I put the soffit in there. There's our over the sink light. Come across. Now I got to do the return, and I got to go over on that side. It's getting pretty late out. I'm going to quit for the night. Let's see if we can finish this up tomorrow. All right, I got this end all finished. The only thing we have left to do, well, we're going to do around the whole room anyway, we discussed earlier, is we got to make a molding to go against the wall up to the ceiling. I don't want a large one. I don't want crown molding. I want things to match. And the trim in the house is this bevel chamfered edge. So what I think I'm going to do is, just like around the fireplace, is make a piece probably half this width with the bottom bevel, and we'll go right around the whole room when we're done. I started a cleat on the top of that cabinet, and then I'm going to take this 2x, run it across the ceiling. I'll start studding down for this wall. Look outside, it's still snowing in March. I got my cleats in, I got my 2x4 framing in, got my wire poking through, I got cleats above the other cabinet. We're going to come across, down, up, back this way a little, crossed, back, across, and then the end. And so I got quite a few more pieces to do here. Okay, I pulled the outlet through. That's all set, that's live. I got to finish hooking that up. The right in the center is our heavy upright, and so we're going to be hooking to 2-inch solid. I might come back and put some screws at least at the top. That's going to be covered by molding to strengthen that. It's got 16 gauge finish nails. And then I decided to come around the top of that cabinet. I thought if I brought that cabinet forward, it would be beyond this one. I didn't want this one out any farther. So that's how we got the spacing with that pantry. And knowing that we want to use that television with a swing arm, if the seating is over here in the middle, the television may not want it straight, might want it turned. And when it turns, it's going to take up the gap. And so I don't want the TV overhanging the front of the cabinet for the refrigerator. I wanted it back, and it can come out, expand, and turn both directions. So I guess if you want to sit out here on the patio, you could have the television on too. It's not that we watch a lot of TV, but we do like Amazon Music, things like that, and videos, and of course YouTube. So, you know, countertops here. We come up, we got our soffit, comes around the corner, comes over there around the corner. Now the thing is, looking at this angle, I'm not liking it. And last night after I installed, I'm like, I'm not in love with that. I'm thinking of doing one of two things: taking and painting that wall color of the light gray on the soffit, and doing the molding the same, because it'll go all the way around the room like that. And then, or the cabinet color. So let me know in the comments what you think would look best. This ceiling with the gray in here, see how it's coming together? It pretty much looks like it doesn't have any finish on it, but it is whitewashed. And that's what we wanted to see, the grain through it, Southern Yellow Pine. And we got our ceilings over there above the windows. They line right up flush with the top of the window. It looks pretty good. And then, what else? What else? We still got to do our under cabinet lighting. We've got to do our backsplash and miscellaneous paint. And what else? What else? What else? We've got a miscellaneous caulking. We got to put the TV over here. We got to make our molding for around the top of the ceiling. That's going to take a couple hours. I'll make that up and then figure out if we want to. You can also let me know in the comments, would you finish it the same as the doorways against the ceiling, or would you do the wall color? I'm not sure I want it to stand out that much, but I might actually take a piece that I do have and just tack it up there to see if I like that look. So if we did that, then we need to stain and poly so that we get the trim looking about the same color. Otherwise, like I said, we got to go down that little hallway, around over here to the garage door, all the way around the top of the cabinets, the soffit, all the way around here. So I'll calculate how many square feet we need. I think we have enough material, some used, some new left over, but we didn't have enough material in the tongue and groove to do all this anyway. And I'm not sure if I would like lines running this way and lines running that way. Kind of like, ugh, a little too much lines going on. So I don't like the drywall. I don't like the dust, the outside corner. When you go up to the top, you still got to use molding, taping, spackling, painting, priming, all that stuff's the same. Here we got wood, so we can attach something up there if you ever want to, you know, decorate with something. We can just screw right to it. 3/4 inch plywood is pretty rugged. And then, like I said, over the sink here, we got this light. So that's going to work nice. These lights are moved back just enough that when you come over here and stand, you don't have a shadow, you know. And that's what I didn't want it behind me, move back to where it looked nicer, but I don't want to throw my shadow on the countertops. You want to keep them as bright as possible. So we'll see where we go from here. So I have to go ahead and make the moldings. So I'm going to measure out. It's hard to do one full length. And if I seem to, I want to use like a scarf joint so that if, you know, any moisture they dry out or whatever, there's no gap. And so I'm going to go over on a little chop saw. I got a scrap piece here. I marked out 1.25 to match a fireplace width, and then 3/8 of that I want to do it a 45 for a chamfer. I'm going to cut that out, and then I'll cut it in half for 2 pieces, for example. So I added up all the inches. 960 divided by 12, we need 80 feet of it. So I'm going to do like, you know, 90 feet of molding. I got some scrap pieces of pine here. I'm going to take and copy what's in the other room by the fireplace. It's a 1.25 inches wide with a 45-degree chamfer beveled edge on it. I'm going to go out to the table saw and make those. Okay, I cut some samples here. Here's my line. 1.25 wide. 3/4 inch stock, half of that, 3/8 of it, a 45 chamfer. That matches the other room. We're going to need to go around all the cabinets, so they're all various sizes. So I'm going to try to do round the cabinets in one piece. When you get to the long walls, I want to start off with, I marked these a little bit because they get confusing, right? Just like molding. Any molding. Here's an S for scarf and scarf. So you match, this will be in a down position, and then when you want to run a second piece, instead of doing just a plain butt joint, do a scarf joint like that. And then if you get any expansion, contraction with moisture, whatever, it separates a little. It doesn't give you that black line. So that's how I want to do the long runs. And then I labeled this one 1 for inside, I for inside. These are in the down position, so that'll be the look we're after. Inside corners. That'll look pretty sharp. And then for the outside corners, gotta fish these all around, right? We match these up again. There's our 45. So that'll be the outside corner. That'll look pretty good. It's economical molding that matches the rest of the house. All the moldings in here have the chamfered edge. There's no sense of changing up and buying something or flat stock, whatever. We might as well copy. It's not a lot of work. The next thing is I got to run a bunch of this off, and then I'll do a little extra, and then if we go ahead and attach it, then I have to be careful on painting it. I haven't decided, but I really don't like the whitewash on the soffits, and I'm not sure I want it gray as the cabinets. And so, you know, I think probably the gray. And because it's a wall surface, that's what's messing with me. It's a wall is the lighter gray. I probably ought to do the soffits all that because it's a vertical surface and leave the cabinets the dark color. So probably lay them out on sawhorses and pre-paint them. That would save a lot of time, maybe, with the ladder kind of work. And then just go back and touch up any nail holes, that kind of thing, and just touch up the paint. Probably the best way to do it. It wouldn't kill me to go around and you know, do it afterwards. It's not that hard. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I have a bunch of these cut off pieces from the ceiling job. See the knot in it? So I can use all them for the cabinet returns and so on and not have to cut new stock. The cabinets and the soffit apart, there was a bunch of 1x4s in there. A couple of them have little nail holes in them, but they're really nice shape. I can probably reuse all them, save some money. Okay, I'm out here in the messy garage. We got a little fire going. So it's cold. See, it's still snowing. Different day, still snowing. We got lake band effects here for another 2 hours, and I'll have to go out and plow. We got 3-4 inches. So what I did is I just used the boards I had. I got 54, 78. I'm just marking them as I go. And then I got a few scraps, and I got a lot of shorts. And so I've got 890 inches here, and I've got, I don't know, I didn't count that, but I've got enough right now. What I want to do is set the table saw up for the chamfer, so I'll do a 45, and instead of pinching it between the blade, I'll probably tilt it and put the guide on this side, so you're cutting away and then it won't bind on me. Got a little hint for you here, a little problem. Running this chamfer through, not too bad, but you look really close. Got a little chatter going on. Now that could be from a feather board, but you know what it really is? Now remember, I take my tools on the go a lot of times. You run your finger across here, and this is not flush. This end right here is way down. This is flush. And then this end here catches. It's low. And so if you run your board through, hear that? So when I'm feeding it through, she'll go on through all right. And then when it hits, it jiggles just enough to tilt it on you. And that's how you get in that little chatter. And then when it runs all the way through, hear that drop down? Well, I didn't notice that right away. Usually when you're running flat stock, you don't notice it, but this throat plate's bent. It's bent down in the center. So on this saw, it pops right out. This is a cobalt. Check that out. If you can see that. Let's see. Different angle. Look at a gap under that thing. So we got to straighten that out a little bit. The other good thing with this saw is you see right here, see these Phillips screws? You can turn them just a little to bring your throat plate up so it's flush. So this won't happen. So I'm going to put this in the vise probably and try to bend that back. Apparently, you know, this rides in the trailer a lot. Something fell on it or dented. I didn't notice it, but it's pretty bad. I ran all 3 of these again and look at the difference. That's what it was. It was dropping after it went through, and then it caught just a little bit, enough to jump it up. So check out your equipment. You get nicer results when everything's working good. I just put a beveled 2x4 on the end, and that'll cap off that other side because there's a molding piece I want to do out there. I took this piece, butted that, pushed her up and nailed it prior, come over here, made my inside mark and did my miter. Over here this piece was shorter, but we're going to use them. And there's a scarf joint where you do a 45 back, and then you take your piece like this one's going to work. You take your piece, put her up here like you know we want it longer on the outside. So we're going to go ahead and cut that. Just like that. Set her up there. Slide it over. And like I said, that's going to look pretty nice. And what you do is you, when you ever have any expansion problem, there's not a hole directly in there. It would slide back and forth, and then just mark your edge. What I did is I marked the back side. See my pencil line? I leave my line. Slide her over. Hard to hold on one hand here. And there's our outside miter. So we're just going to keep moving around the room. So I got around, come around. It's looking good. Now I got to do this end, the north side, and over the east. So it's going good. What I know when I do molding is I measure the back side, and that way when I do my miter, I just come in like this would be mounting this way. I just come into my line and I just make the angle on the top. So I know when I put it in the saw, I'm not cutting it backwards. These are just cut off pieces. I got like no waste. Got a lot of pieces left here. There's noise going on out here. Check it out. Hey Dawson, what project you got there?
Well, I guess it would be sort of called a coffee table, but I got out of school early today, and I went with my friend to Bosie's, and we kind of...
Carpentry class?
Carpentry class, and I kind of made this. I only had about an hour, so it's... I'm going to have to probably add a little structure to the legs. Well, this is what I came up with. It's...
What'd you make it out of? 1x...
Yeah, it's like 1x material, but it's all plain.
How wide are they? 1x6s?
They were like big boards. I had to rip down there about 3 inches. This is a 24 inch by 48 inch, so 2 foot by 4 foot, and it's got.
Oh, tell them what you did on dimensions for everything.
Oh yeah, everything for dimensions is 2x4. I made it super easy. So two foot pieces. I ripped down a bunch of 4-inch a bunch of 4-inch. Well, it's not really considered 4-inch, but
probably like a 1x3 or something.
Yeah, but everything I cut to 2 foot or 4 foot, and then I just ripped. So I had a bunch of pieces, and everything is made out of 2 foot or 4 foot pieces.
So what machines did you use today?
So I used the planer, the joiner, the chop saw, and the table saw.
And the table saw. And then how'd you assemble it?
I had my 20 degree, well, it was one of the DeWalt finish nailers with the Pazlo nails. And
they were what length?
1.5 inches.
1.5 inches. So let's see how you did the legs. You got them on the sides, right?
Yeah.
One each direction. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, like that. And
so he said he wants to finish it off and do what?
Put in my tiny house as like a little area to set a drink or something, sit around, storage something.
Yeah, maybe a shelf or stools under it.
To connect these legs for more additional strength,
I'm
going to put a board on the bottom across there to connect the two. I didn't want anything on the side in case you want to put your feet or something. You want to bang into it.
Well, I went and picked him up. He sent me a text message. He says, he went to bowling.
Yeah,
with a school bowling, and you put this on the school bus with the kids, and the driver let you bring it home, and I didn't know, and I picked him up, and we had to put it in the truck, and the tailgate was frozen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we just set it on top there, and we got her home, and now he wants to finish it. So he's going with the grain, sanding, and then you're
Got some wood putty,
using a random orbit, and then
a belt sander.
remember I was out here making molding, made a big mess, and I showed him some of this stuff, and I got extra. Show him what it would be if you decide to do something on it. That would cap off this, right?
Yeah, it would cap off the end.
And then
It's not super great because I only had an hour to make it, but
we might have enough lumber around here to make something with, and but show him what it looked like on there. If he capped the ends, he could either make the full width, or you could just do that, do
flush
a chamfer.
to the top, yeah.
But what's your favorite?
I like the Roman OG.
Yeah, he likes using his little router and doing that, so he could nail on just flat stock, and then run the OG, and that would round over the edge and leave a nice little groove on it. Match his trim in your building, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, nice little project for a 17-year-old for 1 hour. I think that's quite a lot of pieces for 1 hour.
Yeah, I'm going to have to probably beef it up a little bit, but that'll hold me. I already tested that. But
Yeah, the
I'm
only
gonna
thing...
need something to connect my legs together.
Show him the bottom side.
I just did.
Check that out. 2, 2, 2. And it looks like you measured. They look equal.
Yeah, I'm equal measure. Yeah.
That looks pretty rugged. Hey, you could do some secret spots, hiding spots up in there. Do like a hinge down or something.
Yeah.
Put your little Glock in there, right? Yeah. So what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I was thinking, just so happens that Dad was he was doing trim today in the kitchen, and look at that. It is the exact, to the 16th of an inch length across, and I'm going to put it on the top.
So he could do his Roman OG, maybe rip this on the table saw, do the Roman OG, and set it underneath there and have it line up flush with the ends.
And that'll connect the legs together.
And that'll beef it up, and it won't take up any space. So he said he wanted to do a couple little, like ottomans or something to sit on?
Yeah.
Because it's a tiny house, and you can't have anything in the way to slide them under the table. So
Got to make custom furniture.
that's pretty slick. I didn't know you were going to do that. So I still got the fire going out here, and it's warmed up a little bit. It's up to, what is it, 50-something over there, and it's 70 by the stove. So good little project while I'm doing the kitchen molding. All right, there we have it. All the way around. Dawson's come home, you saw. He's out there standing on his coffee table right now. I had enough trim left over that he's thinking about doing the chamfered piece around the top edge. So I'm giving him that stuff. And so what we're going to do next is we both agree that this kitchen, we like the ceiling. We don't like the soffit. I never like soffit. Soffit makes the cabinets look built in, but to me, I don't care. I just soon have the cabinets open on the wall, or buy a cabinet that goes all the way to the ceiling. But it's just a wasted space, you know. It's like a trunk line. But we want to finish this off, so I'll probably end up a little wood putty in the nail holes, probably on the seams. It's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 seams. I'll probably be addressing them a little bit better, and then I think we're going to do the wall color. So I'll probably be putting 2 coats of paint, and it'll blend in. So it's going to be just a hair darker than it is, but I don't think I want it the cabinet color. So follow along with the channel. I don't know if you need to watch me paint. Everybody watches the paint. So I think what we'll do is we'll call it quits on this one. Thanks for watching. I think the money I got invested in that molding is 0. I've got about $1 worth of nails in it. So I showed Dawson how to make it out in the garage, and he thought it was pretty cool. So if we went and bought molding for this, it wouldn't match because they don't have this, and then it's an added expense. So follow along. We're going to continue on this kitchen process. The next thing after I get this soffit painted, get this all touched up, we're going to come down and we're going to work on these backsplashes and start doing some tile work. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. See you soon.